Hi, Tom. Congratulations on your win for this year's Comp Laude Award for the applicant plaintiff attorney category. That is a wonderful accomplishment, and I'm really proud to know you. You've always been such a wonderful advocate for injured workers, especially the catastrophically injured workers that really need the treatment and care that they deserve. And your follow-up and your enthusiasm and your commitment to injured workers is heartwarming. You've done a wonderful job, and you're such an asset to our industry. So congratulations. So I'm going to start with question one. What does it mean to have been nominated to then becoming a finalist?
Well, first of all, of course, Tammy, thank you for that kind introduction. Well, of course, you were the person who nominated me, and I was very flattered. I mean, you are known throughout the industry and are very involved in the Comp Laude Awards and really know much more about them than I do. I do know a couple of people over the last few years who have won them, but really am not nearly as involved to the extent that you are as far as what you would be looking for someone to win. So to be nominated was was obviously very nice of you to do that, and then to see that other people that in the industry, I had our state board chairman Frank McKay, who was last year's public servant Comp Laude winner, then was generous enough to write a letter of recommendation on my behalf, and then I was interviewed by one of the members of the committee, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but we did chat for quite a while. So to be able to come through that process and then be considered to be one of the 4 finalists, and then of course to win the award, it was just very satisfying to me. As I've told a number of people, when you get into this work or any kind of work, you don't really do it for the recognition. You want to do a good job and feel like you have something to offer to your clients. But every now and again to have people say, we think you've been doing a good job all these years, is really something that's just very touching to me.
So what was your reaction when you won?
It was the first time that I'd ever gotten an award where I didn't know that I was going to get it. Usually, with these types of things, they tell you you're going to win an award, and then you feel good you're going to get it. But to actually hear my name called was just really, I don't know, it just really hit me. I was actually a little bit surprised by my reaction. I'm not usually that emotional about things, but it just warmed my heart. It really did.
What's your plan to continue on being a positive, influential person in the industry?
Well, of course, the last few years I've been very active in WILIG, which is the Workers' Injury and Injury Law and Advocacy Group, which is the National Organization of Claimants Lawyers. I was a president a couple of years ago, and I certainly plan on continuing to be involved in that. And that's been tremendous for me, sort of in the last decade, as I get to the later stages of my career, a chance to really expand the nature of my practice, to get to know the top workers' comp attorneys throughout the country. So I certainly want to stay involved in that to the extent that I can. I'm always, of course, willing to speak whenever anybody thinks I have something worthwhile to say. We all like to think we always have something worthwhile to say, but we're interested in other people saying that, telling us that. So that would be one thing. I also serve on the advisory council here in Georgia. We have primarily an advisory council process where various people who are involved in the workers' compensation system try to work together to develop new legislation and new rules, and to help advance workers' comp in Georgia. And I've enjoyed being on that the last few years, so I certainly plan on doing that. I'm still working. I'm not retired. I still have a full caseload. We have 4 lawyers in our firm, and I certainly plan on continuing to represent my clients to the best of my ability.
That's great. And you've done an excellent job with WILIG. I think you really brought a lot of recognition to that organization, and it's a great organization. And before the pandemic, I know it was flourishing, and I loved the idea of having the regional conferences. You did a great job with that as president. So congratulations with that as well. For the next question, who would you like to thank?
Well, as far as getting the award itself, of course, I'd first like to thank you for nominating me, and Chairman McKay. I'd like to thank him, of course, for writing on my behalf. I Also, of course, we'd like to thank, Kristen Chavez and all the people there. The work that they do, trying to, improve the professionalism throughout workers' comp, throughout the country. I think, people who are involved on the national scale know that Work Comp Central is really one of the, main places to go to keep up with information. I know in my year as WILLIG president, when I had to travel around and speak to various groups, that always gave me good insight as to what was going on in different states so that I could try to tailor my speech to be a little more state specific. I also, for many years, for 32 years, I had a practice with a lawyer here named Jim Long, and Jim and I always were very supportive of our professional endeavors. So I certainly thank Jim, because when I got started, especially in WILLIG, it meant I was going to be out of the office and spending money on traveling and things. So I appreciate his support. And now I'm here with Ben Gerber at Gerber and Holder, and Ben, of course, knew I was involved in this, and Ben is involved in some WILLIG activities also. So I appreciated their support, for my endeavors.
Last question. What's a message or takeaway you'd want to leave for the industry?
Well, I think the primary message is that I always say to people that when a client comes to us, the person's been hurt, their income has been reduced, and they're usually not working. And that most people in life, if they had one of those three things going on, would be in dire straits, and our clients come to us with all three. And I think that there are certain people in the workers' comp field who sometimes forget that there's actually an injured worker at the heart of the case. And people who are we all delay and denial of medical is a never-ending problem. And people say, well, if we don't agree, just go to court. Well, if we get into the court system, and then it's 6 to 9 months before we can figure out if that medical care is needed, our client is still waiting to get medical care. And I know for myself, if I had to have back surgery and I had to wait a year or 9 months for it, it would be devastating to me. And I think that sometimes people are penny wise and pound foolish on the medical side. And to me, I think that's something that really could be improved.
That's great. It's so well deserved. Like I said, I don't know if you remember this from 3 or 4 years ago after Hurricane Irma, and we were at an event down in South Florida. I think you had just helped with everything, even though that really wasn't your role. But I just remember going to this reception, this elegant reception, outdoor reception, and you were still in a grungy t-shirt and shorts. And I was wondering if I was invited to the reception, and you welcomed me with open arms. And I have always been endearing of that. So thank you for your graciousness all these years. You've just been such a role model and a true professional in your industry.